Hello, I haven't done one of these in a little bit, but we're going to do a ReZero web novel review. I've skipped a few just because after Subaru uh, leaves the Gladiator Island, there hasn't been much about him, and it's just been what the other characters have been doing so far. And so I've skipped some of those. Well, I've read them, but I've skipped reviewing them because uh, I didn't have much to talk about with those. It's just, I could summarize the reviews in like a paragraph. Anyway, we'll see if this is different. This one is Arc 7, Chapter 86, The Five Bastions. Before I continue with this review, I should probably talk about the chapters that I skipped. So, first off, Amelia's team meets up with Abel's team that came back from the Chaos Flame City, and they meet the Archbishop of Sin, Luis, who came back with Abel. And that's essentially all that happens. They can't do anything because story-wise, Hebrews not there, I guess. So they're just like, we'll wait and see. The next chapter, I think, is over to Roswell and Ram and what they're doing. And they go meet Roswell's old friend, and they essentially convince her to join the rebellion that they're a part of now. Along with just Ram talking to Todd's sister, I forget her name at the moment, has sent out an order that any black-haired, black-eyed boys on the battlefield should be captured and taken to him in case one of them is the Emperor's son, because we find out that the only reason he rebelled against the Emperor in the first place was because he wouldn't sire an heir, essentially. And so he's like, if one of these people turns out to be authentic, then I would give the throne back to the Emperor Abel. And he tells us straight to Misha Gold's face, who's pretending to be the Emperor at the time. And he's like, of course that's not going to happen. He never had a son or whatever. So those are the main plots of it, I believe, of the few chapters there were that I skipped over. It did go on about how, the flame of rebellion has spread and it's essentially everywhere now. And how Todd and Araki are going around just anytime they show up on the battlefield, they completely destroy the enemy side. So for this chapter, it starts off introducing you to a character named Ismail, who is part of the Cyclops tribe. It goes on to explain how the Cyclopses have interesting powers with their eyes. Like, they can see further, they can see heat or mana coming off of stuff, it seems, and that they're also physically strong. It continues to tell about how he was raised with expectations for having such a good eye compared to other Cyclopses. And because the Empire was at a time of peace, he had no opportunity to prove himself, so that now the rebellion has started, he's decided this is a good chance and has declared to the other tribe members and stuff that they're going to rebel against the Emperor. It goes forward to the present for Ismail, and we find out he's in the middle of a fight, or in the middle of attacking some place. It doesn't tell us where yet, but we get a glimpse at what the specialty of his eye is, and that it is, he can see the emotions of the enemy, essentially. See if their will to fight is strong or not, and what kind of skills and stuff they have, it seems, and how experienced they are as a fighter. We find out that he is attacking the capital, mainly the wall surrounding the capital. He's on top of it, attacking the soldiers that are standing guard. So Ismail is disappointed at the soldiers on the wall. They're not putting up much of a fight, and one soldier, trying to have his life spared, tells him that he was just a prisoner that they gave armor to. And so he looks around and he surmises that all of the people on the wall that he and his tribe members of the Cyclops tribe are fighting are just criminals. And so he realizes it's a trap, essentially. So we find out that Arakia is there in the sky, and that she decimates the Cyclops tribe and the criminals that were on the wall, most likely on Todd's orders. So Ismail wakes up severely burned and the only survivor. Todd finds Ismail lying there and comes over, and Ismail knows that Todd's behind the plan that just took place, and Todd deflects the blame back to Arakia, saying that she's the one that killed them all. So he uses his eye to see what Todd's truly about, and it states that fighters will have a red color to them, people that are anxious will have yellow, and cowards will have blue, essentially. And he sees that Todd has a blue color to him, and he finds Todd to be very dangerous. for this. So he tries to attack Todd. Todd uses the Cyclops' weakness, which is that they only have one eye, and throws powder at him. And then they essentially just kill Ismail. We find out that Todd and Arakia are guarding one wall of the city, and there's essentially 5 walls, 5 bastions or whatever. And each one has someone as powerful as Arakia guarding it. I said Todd's sister earlier, but it's Jamal's sister, Todd's fiance, Katya. My apologies for that. So it ends that part of the chapter with Todd cursing the world that he can't meet with Katya yet. And then it goes to Kafma Erolix's side that he's guarding for the wall. And it shows just him fighting against centaurs on his side of the wall. He uses a new move that he just acquired that's very powerful, it seems, where he fires his ribs at people, I guess. I'm very confused about his powers and such, and his abilities. So it says he's from the Insect Cage tribe, but the moves he has used previously in chapters have been all vines and such, so I don't really understand his power set, or if this is like a weird translation thing. So as he's decimating the centaurs, a guy jumps on the wall that isn't a centaur, and Kathma instantly realizes that he's gonna have a tough fight with this person, and we find out that it's Garfield, which is awesome. So Garfield's here. So that's essentially it for this chapter. I can't wait to see what happens next. We finally have some action after a few chapters of kind of nothing. We had Arakia like decimate some people, but that's not really action when it's one-sided like that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.